Gas stoves are quite a convenient thing to use when camping, but some are practical and others not so much. I generally don't use them. Most of the stoves that I use when I'm camping are either twig stoves, so I'm burning wood that I'm pulling out of the environment or other combustible materials, or alcohol stoves, which are very convenient as an alternative. I do, however, use occasionally butane stoves if I'm car camping, or sometimes I'll use it at home if we were to have a power outage or something like that. I mean, I've had probably half a dozen occasions over the last 20 years where we've lost power at least for a few hours for one reason or another, and being able to cook food or boil some water to make some tea, this kind of thing, has been a helpful thing to have. And we're going to have a look at the one that I've used. We're also going to look at another one that's a relatively recent model. I've had it a couple of years now, and it's quite good, and it is actually suitable for backpacking. Stay tuned. So the kind of fuel used that we're talking about are these. These are butane cylinders. You can buy them in packs of 4 like this. They're really inexpensive and rather ubiquitous. And they're used with this kind of stove. So this is in its storage mode. It does have a box, but basically if you flip that over, and you'll find that the gas cylinder is normally kept here, and it's normally kept loose. There is a notch and a little flippy thing, and you position the nozzle into the hole, put the flippy thing down, and it's not connected for safety reasons. But if you press this button down here, this lever will lock it into place. Now the gas supply is going. One thing I will mention is if this is in the storage position where that's upside down, it gets in the way, so it won't do that. That's a safety feature. But if you have everything the right way around, pressing that down will hook it up. Turn when you get to full extension, and now that's lit. And then you can control how high or how low you have the flame based on where you position the knob. And if we turn it all the way off, it goes out. For safety, we can disconnect the gas, just as simple as that. And normally, of course, obviously this would be kept closed. There's an inspection hole there so you can see what's going on, and it burns rather nicely. And I know in this daylight you can't really see it particularly much, but it is burning rather nicely. Now, of course, a stove of that size would be worse than useless on a backpacking trip. It's fine if you're, as I say, car camping, where you are camping right next to where you're parking your vehicle. You don't have to carry it any distance, but it's big, it's bulky, it's heavy, it's not convenient. But using those same inexpensive gas cylinders, they have come up with a new type of stove that you can put in a backpack. It comes with a pouch, nylon. It unzips, and out it comes. So it has 4 feet, which flip out. And these 4 arms, which flip open, and there's a notch that they lock into place. And if you are going to put something small or something large on it, it'll work just fine. This button here, if you look in this spot, in this light it's kind of hard to see. Let's just see if I can. You get a little spark. And what's also significant is this. Now, this is where you attach your fuel cylinder to. Now, you'll notice there are 2 tabs. That's important. When this first came out, they made it with 1 tab. Those particular units are a little bit unsafe and have a nasty tendency of flaring up in ways that are extremely alarming. Those have been discontinued and replaced by this with the 2 tabs, and these work much, much better. And if I just take the fuel cylinder out of our other stove, let me demonstrate how it's attached. You hook onto the tab on one side, and when this is pressed in so that the notch on the cylinder edge goes through here, and then just a slight rotation, that's it. It's now connected up. And as long as the feet are flat, everything is fine. Now, I will tell you, this won't really flare up. It'll just work normally unless you pick it up and jig it about. Don't forget the butane is in liquid form in the cylinder. And if you jig it about, you will get some flare-ups, so that's something to be avoided. But if you turn the gas on, and now that's lit, giving off some nice heat. I'm just going to switch it off. And again, it'll hold something as small as this or smaller, or something very large. Here, for example, I'm putting a full-size cast iron skillet on there. Sits nice and stable, works an absolute treat. So it is actually quite a good bit of kit, which, again, just a partial turn. Pull that out. Flip these arms in. Flip shut the legs. Takes up very little space, and it goes into its little carrier super easily. And that's it. I mean, it's not very big, it's not very heavy, but here's the thing. Price-wise, this costs about half what the other stove costs, and most people are familiar with these other stoves by virtue of the fact that they're just about the least expensive gas camping stove that you can buy, and yet they cost double what these cost. So price-wise, it's a great advantage, but also because that's so compact, you can stick that into a backpack. And a cylinder like this one, to be honest, it's not particularly expensive and it's not particularly bulky. So putting one or two of those cylinders into a backpack, to be honest, I would be, unless it's a very long backpacking trip, one will be plenty. That and one of these small stoves, if you want that particular convenience on your backpacking trip, that's not a bad option. Anyway, I hope you found that interesting. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, please click like. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing and click the bell icon so you can see the next video when it drops. And leave a comment. If is there a gas stove that you find that you like? I mean, let's say when I'm camping, I tend to use twig stoves and alcohol stoves, but this is not a bad alternative, and it's something I would consider taking out from time to time. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. See you in the next one. Have a good one.